Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the issue of illegal immigration and what order has been given by the Assam government, as a result of which what reactions are coming out and whether that order was discriminatory in nature or not is all what we will see in this lecture. So what has happened over here is the Assam government has ordered for the withdrawal of what? Of certain cases which were pending in front of the foreigners tribunal. So there were certain cases pending with respect to the foreign tribunals. Assam government has ordered for the withdrawal of thousands of such cases. Now the issue, what's the issue here? The issue is the order talks about withdrawing the cases of only the non-Muslim illegal immigrants. That means the Muslim illegal immigrants cases will not be withdrawn, only the non-Muslim illegal immigrant cases will be withdrawn. Now prima facie, on the look of it, it looks probably discriminatory in nature. So we will understand whether it is actually discriminatory or not, and if yes, then who is to be blamed or protested against for this. So let's get started with respect to the background. So what is the background? The background here lies with respect to the illegal immigration that is happening in India. Now specifically when you talk about Assam, majorly it is from Bangladesh. Now from Bangladesh, the illegal immigration happens to a lot of states, especially the northeastern states of India, but specifically the state of Assam. So Assam-Bangladesh border issue is ongoing. That is one thing. Secondly, this issue is not a recent one. It has been there since time immemorial, as a result of which there was an Assam Accord which was signed decades back, over 50 years back. It was signed between the then Assam government and the central government of India. Now, as per that accord, there was a cut-off date which was given, before which if anyone might have illegally also entered into Indian territory would be allowed, not a problem. That was the cutoff date. But after which if someone is entering, boss, they will not be allowed. Cases may go on against them and they may be deported as well. However, what has happened is this particular order of the government is now withdrawing the cases that might be ongoing in the foreigner tribunal that we talked about, as a result of which this might go against the spirit of the Assam Accord that are there, right? So we'll see whether we should be blaming the Assam government or probably not. Before we move on to that, a special announcement with respect to the two new batches starting from Legacy IAS Academy, one from 9th of August, the other from the 11th of August. The 9th of August batch is a weekly batch and the 11th one is the weekend one, specially designed for the working professionals and the students who have other responsibilities during the week. The weekly batches can be subscribed majorly by the full-time aspirants. So we are catering to all kinds of UPSC aspirants. You will be getting taught and trained, guided and mentored by these expert faculties in the field of UPSC Civil Services Examination, wherein they themselves have given personality tests. Some of us have given it multiple times as well, having over 10 years of experience each. Once you enroll with us, there are certain advantages. Some of them are listed here. First is the comprehensive coverage of the GS papers, then one-on-one mentorship, which is my personal favorite, wherein you will get the one-on-one mentorship with the same teachers that you saw over here. You will also be able to interact with them on a regular basis. The special thing about our batches is that the size is very small, which ensures hyper-personalized and individual attention on each and every aspirant. There will of course be the daily mains answer writing practice. There of course will be the prelims and mains test series. Now in addition to that, we will be providing a 360 degree coverage of the current affairs. Now how do we do that? 1 day per week is being devoted only specifically to current affairs live classes. Yes, throughout the day, every week, for one entire day, the live classes for only current affairs will go on, which will resolve all your issues with respect to current affairs. So if you want to enroll with us, just download our new app or log on to our website, that is www.legacyis.com, or call on our number that is listed on your screen. So let's continue with the news. So what is the sequence of event over here? Is this coming out of the blue? No, there was a high-level meeting that took place on July 17th with the Home and with respect to the Home Affairs Department as well. Now, In that meeting, the foreign tribunals cases were reviewed. Now remember, it was not reviewed without any context. It was being reviewed under the context of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Yes, this is the important point over here. The order might be coming to take back the cases with respect to the illegal immigrants, but then it actually has a backing of a central law, that is the Citizenship Amendment Act, right? So Citizenship Amendment Act is there, which actually allows you to become an Indian citizen on registration if you belong to certain communities wherein these communities are facing religious persecution in their home country. Because these communities would be in minority in their home country, that is why they are facing religious persecution, because of which they might have run to India. So in that scenario, they can get Indian citizenship, based on which this order is can be looked at. Now, what are the communities that are included and the ones that are excluded? So the communities that are included in the Citizenship Amendment Act, as well as the recent order that is there, so all the Hindus are included, the Sikhs, the Buddhists, the Jains, the Parsis, as well as the Christians. Now, there is a huge logical reasoning behind that. What is the reasoning? See, these communities are being included from the countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Now, what kind of countries are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh? They are basically religious state. They are Islamic state. They have a state religion. India does not have a state religion, but these countries have a state religion, and the state religion of these countries is Islam. So since Islam is the state religion, these countries have been seen to be quite antagonistic and having a lot of atrocities against the minority communities, which in this case will be these communities. As a result of which, these communities will be persecuted in these countries, as a result of which India is becoming their caretaker, sheltering them and allowing them to have Indian citizenship on registration if they are religiously persecuted in their home country. So that is the entire logic behind allowing these communities. However, a counter argument could also be that even if these are state religions, in the religion also, basically you will find different sects or different sections, wherein, for example, a simple example can be in Islam or in Muslims, there are Shias and Sunnis. So if one of them are in minority, they will also be persecuted on the basis of the differences in the religious opinion. So at the same time, they will also be persecuted based on the religion, and they can also be illegally migrating in India because of that region. So that could have been one of the argument in this favor. Apart from that, there is no as such discrimination. The reasons are very clear. One small point that could have been added is that within the same religion, you could find the discrimination and the disparities, right? But you remember, the Assam government's order is based on the Citizenship Amendment Act. So even if there is protest, the protest has to be directed towards the central government for the Citizenship Amendment Act and not towards the state government. But as far as Citizenship Amendment Act is concerned, the protests on that have already taken place. It still goes on, but the act is in force. Now, next is, what is basically the reaction from the people? So you have statewide protest from ASU. Now ASU is basically All Assam Students Association, which is protesting. Now why they are protesting? They are putting allegation that this is selective protection based on religion. Why are you protecting only the 6 communities and leaving out the others is an issue. Remember one thing, we always talk about that yes, Muslims are being left out, but you can also see there is also another community that is missing over here, that is the Jews. Even Jews are not mentioned over here. So that also is an important point. If you mention in your answers, that would of course help, right? Then there is political sensitivity in Assam because of the NRC, that is National Register of Citizenship, and the immigration fear which always is there, especially in the international states which are bordering into other countries. Now, Chief Minister has given certain clarification with respect to this, because the protest is happening against the Assam government. So Chief Minister has said that no new cabinet decision has been taken. There is no as such decision that we have taken this unilaterally, because Why? Because the Citizenship Amendment Act already provides for it. So why are you having protests against me and my government? This is just the Citizenship Amendment Act rules which are already in place. So please do not complain against me, and which is quite justified, because this is nothing but the imposition of the Citizenship Amendment Act. And the minutes of the high level meeting that took place is not akin to, is not equal to, is not similar to any administrative order. So just because the minutes of the meeting talks about it, you cannot say that the state government has given this order. So please, again, do not put blame on us. At the same time, the formal withdrawal, if it is actually done, it will require a written order from the government which has not yet been issued. So again, why the complaint is, what the complaint is all about. That's point number one. Point number two, even if the written order is actually issued, again, it will be under the Citizenship Amendment Act. So probably the direction of the protest should be against the Citizenship Amendment Act rather than any state order, because the state is just following what the central act is talking about. Right. Now, what is the legal and political context of this? The issue of the Assam Accord versus the Citizenship Amendment Act cutoff date. Now, Assam Accord gives a cutoff date of over 50 years, whereas Citizenship Amendment Act gives a cutoff date of December 2014. So this is a big gap. Now, Citizenship Amendment Act provides overriding protection for the 6 communities. It is overriding the Assam Accord as well. And the pending cases in front of the foreign tribunal is approximately 90,000 cases. So it will involve close to 1 lakh illegal immigrants, which is going to completely lead to a demographic shift as well, which again will be a concern. At the same time, the other legality is here is, just because the order is placed, that does not mean all the 6 community people would be declared as citizens. It is not automatic. There needs to be an application which further needs to be approved. However, the Rohingyas, which is one of the most persecuted communities in the world, are not a part of it, and there are various others who are not covered under this Citizenship Amendment Act, and they are still subject to the foreign tribunals and the cases that are ongoing. So sort of this particular issue is there, wherein a particular community which is considered to be the most persecuted community in the world is left out. Why not provide shelter to them as well? This probably can be a proper reasoning, because in Myanmar this is actually happening, wherein the Rohingya Muslims are being persecuted. However, the counter argument to this is that there is an army known as the Rakhine Army, the RA. Now, this army also consists of Rohingya Muslims, right? So it is of course not to say that all Rohingya Muslims are a part of this army and are terrorists, of course not, right? But even if the small percentages are, what is to discriminate between the ones who are and who are not? So that to some extent can be a security threat as well. So that is the counter argument over here. So remember these arguments, they are going to be very important for you, especially in your mains answers. And for prelims, remember the communities like the Rohingya communities, the provisions of the Citizenship Amendment Act, and all that we have discussed in this lecture. Thank you.